All right, we've come a long way, and honestly, you should feel pretty proud of yourself for what we've been able to accomplish in this course. Now, for this section, we're going to begin our journey to local development. We've done enough in the console, and honestly, it's not how you develop applications these days, anyways. But while we're still new to AWS, we can at least get our environment set up so that we can do some development. So, the very first thing we want to do is install the AWS CLI, and I'll leave this link in the description so that way you all have it available to you. But you can see that there are two versions. You want to make sure that you install version 2, easy enough. And honestly, it's a pretty practical installation process. If you're on Linux, Mac, or Windows, you click on the appropriate dropdown. You can come down here and either have the installer set up, which I highly recommend you use, or you can use the executable bash scripts right here. I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to click on the Mac version. And I should probably click on this because I have to upgrade my CLI anyways. Now, I'm a huge fan of using the GUI installer. It takes all the guesswork out of it. So let's come down here to my desktop and save that. Now, as with any installer, it's going to be fairly simple to just click through and make sure that you select and agree after reading all the license stuff, which is super important. I'm going to install it for all users on this computer. I have it available, and then we can select install right here. It's going to go ahead and do its thing, just any installer would. And once it's done, you'll get the success message saying, hey, we're all set and ready to go. Not too hard of a process. I'm going to close this out. And now we're ready to configure our account for local development. Now recall, I had you bookmark that site for where we wanted to have our account set up. I'm going to get rid of this whole pound tab accounts. And this is really the base of what we need to do. So I'm going to select this URL, copy that. And the cool thing is that from here, we just want to open up our terminal. And now we can set up our account for local development. Now, because we have single sign-on enabled for our account, meaning we can just click on that URL and select the account we want to use, we can do AWS configure SSO. Selecting that is a good way to verify that we have, in fact, the AWS CLI set up. And now it'll ask me, what is the session name? Default is pretty much what everyone uses for the start URL. Enter in the URL for your AWS session. I'm going to select enter here. And then this is actually pretty important. You want to make sure that you attach the right region. We're putting everything in US East 1. We should get tab complete on this. There we go. And then for these scopes, you could leave this as the default. It's going to send you over to the browser where you have to verify that you do in fact give this access. I'm going to select allow access over here. And now our CLI has been given the requested permissions. Our default client region for the AWS CLI, we're going to set this to US East 1 as well. So we'll say that. The default output, you can either do, what is it, like TXT, you can do JSON, you can do YAML. I'm going to select JSON as the default. It is the default if you don't specify one. Cool. And then our profile name. This is a super long profile name. Everyone always changes it. We're going to say that ours is going to be called Fundamentals Course Admin. And I believe that is everything that we need. Now it gives you a little helper here, right? Now I'm going to widen this up because it's getting a little crazy and clear this out. But I'm going to copy this. And this is just to verify that we can, in fact, talk to our AWS account. So we're going to come here. We'll paste that back in. And we should get the credentials for this AWS session, or at least the user ID, the account ID, etc. And that was it. Now you have the ability to use the AWS CLI locally so that you can begin developing full stack applications.